standing up for righteousness here.
Okay. What's your name, brother?
My name is Raheem.
Raheem. And what was your Hebrew name when you were in the Hebrew? What is it? The Hebrew Academy or Church of
Academy? Ryla. That's what it was.
What was your Hebrew name again? I'm sorry.
Ryla.
And when did you first? How did you first hear about the church that you went to?
Well, my aunt Tracy Lee, who lives up in East Harlem, she's the one who brought me into that godforsaken place.
Okay. And how long were you attending classes there?
Well, I was on and off, but I didn't really get serious into it until about like 2007, 2008.
And were you put out of the church, or you just decided to leave the church?
I decided to leave because what happened, like when about 2009, I lost my apartment, and because of the fact that I was not giving like it was me giving it was like basically forcefully. They was telling me to give in the tithes and preach for. So when I was doing that and paying half of my rent, it was to the point where I had to go to housing court. And when I went to council to request it for help, financial assistance, they denied me financial assistance given the fact that I had some nice sneakers on. That was Jermaine Grant's. I'm not even gonna say his Hebrew name, but his government name, Jermaine Grant.
And who is Jermaine Grant known as?
Jermaine Grant is known as the quote-unquote comforter. I don't even know why they call him that. Whatever. I can care less. But this is who he is. The only thing he comforts people's pockets and men's wives, and that's the only thing he comforts. Other than that, he really ain't nothing. He's just a piece of shit to me.
Okay. If you don't mind me asking, about how much money were you paying in tithes, funds,
everything
offerings?
Rounded up to
per week.
It was bi-weekly because I got paid bi-weekly because they knew my finance, either because I told them or my aunt told them. I was giving them $290, so I was getting paid every 2 weeks from my job. My old job was $980, so $290 every time I got paid. So basically everything was going towards that. My rent wasn't being paid, and half of my student loans wasn't being paid. So I fell into financial debt because of that.
Can you explain the situation again as far as your lack of being able to pay the rent, and you going and reaching out for help, and you go into somewhat detail what happened?
Well, what happened was that I remember when I told brother that I couldn't pay my tithes because I was behind the rent, and he told me that's not my problem. And This was Jermaine Grant? This was, no, this was one of his lackeys. Okay. And they was forcibly always if I wasn't paying my tithes, they would bring me in for not paying my tithes and ask me why, and then Shaw would budget me and tell me I could do it, and I tell him it's impossible because of what I'm getting paid, and plus my rent was $850, and they was telling me I'm living outside my means. Basically, when they say you live outside your means, is that basically you should be in the shelter or you should have a room. So that's what's the real deal. So what happened was that I was paying half of my rent every time I got paid, and paid them, and it was to the point where it had interest with the management, and management took me to housing court, and I've never been to housing court before. I had an apartment since I was 22. Never been to housing court until I got to that place. And when I actually, in the summer of 2008, I got myself out of housing court. I got myself back into it because I fell behind again because of that tithes offerings. And when that happened, I went to the council to request a help for loan to see if they could help me out, because I think I was only like $1,000, and I just needed $1,000 to save me from being evicted. They denied me because of the fact that the clothes I was wearing. So basically, if I came in there looking like a bum, they would have, or if I was giving all my tithes in, or probably be kissing Jermaine Grant's ass, definitely, or probably like because I heard his faggots up there sucking his dick, then basically I would have got that loan. So since I was denied of that, my aunt didn't help me out. She's quote unquote married to Shaw, but funny thing.
Can you explain Shaw's position? So for the newcomers,
Shaw is a chief high priest, and she's quote unquote Tracy Lee's quote unquote married to Shaw. But here's the funniest thing: Shaw lived in Co-op in East Harlem, and not East Harlem, West Harlem, excuse me. And because she brought me to his house, but she lives in the projects in East Harlem. So if you're husband and wife, why is he living in a co-op and you're living in the projects? I never got that. But anyway, so Shaw and did the budget for me, told me that I could have done it. It was next to impossible. I became homeless in '09. I stayed in a shelter. And then my girlfriend was helping me to find a room. And then by the summer of '09, I decided to leave because I had enough. Because of the disrespect they treated, and then I realized, it dawned on me that I should have left in January when I got evicted.
Did you give them notice that you were leaving, or
No,
did they try to stop you?
I told them I was leaving, but they started arguing with me, and they told me to go to council, and I refused to go to council because I was like, I went to council, request for help, financial help, and they didn't help me. All they was going to do if I go to council was try to manipulate reasons why I should stay and everything. So I decided, I think that was by the grace of God. God just probably opened up my mind that day and just said, no, don't even go to council. Just do what you got to do and keep it moving. So they called me the night, and I kept not answering their calls, and they kept calling me. Sorry, calls. I answered the calls, and when I did answer, one brothers told me that since you're not coming back, they told the church to not talk to you. So brothers see you, they ain't gonna talk to you. So that means, so quote unquote friends I had up in there, they can't talk to me, especially my aunt. Right. Tracy Lee, right, who lives on 103 on East 103rd Street, didn't want to talk to me no more. So it was like that. So I became homeless, and I became bitter because of that. I don't think any sisters or brothers should go there. Be careful if they are out there recruiting, because it's all about recruiting. It's not about knowledge of God. It's about you making grants, right, and that's all about.
Sorry, so let me just ask you a question. So basically, when Christ talked about feed the flock, do you think these men are an example of feeding the flock?
No, they're about feeding themselves. It's not about feeding the flock.
Right, they're not about feeding the flock. Christ said, he that's greatest among you, let him be a servant to all. And what are they doing? They feeding their own pocket, right?
Yeah, well,
it would be more like what Isaiah said in 56, greedy dogs. Yeah. It's all about themselves.
Well, what their tactic is, they use Malachi chapter 2, verse 8, when a man robbed from God. But you got to remember, God, honestly, and this is where I really, because the tithes and offering, it depends on who's telling it, but it's varied, because God doesn't need money. He made the heavens and earth. And he doesn't need money, you know what I'm saying? So if he bless, you have to remember, sisters and brothers, if you have a house and a home, that's the Most High blessing you, right there and there. You don't have to give up your house and home for Jermaine Grant, so you feel like God can bless you more. Because if you giving up your home, I forgot, there's a scripture in there about that. I forgot what it is, but it's if you give up your home for these men, then you're just doing disservice to God, because God bless you with that home. He bless, you know what I'm saying? Because it's bad enough that we're out here struggling, trying to survive, but the Most High put a roof over your head. You don't give it up for a Jermaine Grant or a Shaw or Royal Bond or any of that madness, because those are fleshly men. They're not real. You know what I'm saying? They wicked and they're ridiculous.
Are we the first brothers that teach in the street that you've come into contact with since you left the church uptown?
I came in contact with some other brothers, and when I told them my situation, they understood, because also those are brothers who broke away too.
Did they treat you bad or look down on you?
No, they didn't treat me bad, look down on me. But at the same time, it's just that to me, I say, like, when it comes to the brothers out here in the streets, it's just gotta be, just as long as they're not from 1941 Madison, right, it's good to listen and everything. Right. But if they from Israelite Church Jesus Christ, or from the other one, Millstone, you gotta be careful. Right. But I just say is that just pray about it. But when there's something, my grandmother told me it's something good to be true, and it's not good at all.
Because I was downtown Brooklyn and standing there listening to the same brothers that's affiliated with the church you came out of, and they were instructing one of the listeners not to come near any of the other brothers. If you don't see them wearing red and white, then those are rebels, and they'd stay away from them and only listen to the brothers who wear the red and white. Basically, the attire they wear, the red and white, that's where the truth is coming out of. Those brothers who are affiliated with the church that ripped you off and ripped us off more than 20 years ago.
Well, I say like this. Say